Imagine a passenger jet about to land in South Florida with a pilot who can't understand a control tower.
Well, it may surprise you to know that it happens all the time. 2 months ago, an NBC6 investigation exposed this problem in the skies above us. Now, investigative reporter Steve Daniels is back with some encouraging news about one airline in particular working to make the air travel safer. Steve?
Tony and Jennifer, our investigation uncovered and revealed foreign airline pilots flying here into Miami International with plane loads of passengers, and they're actually endangering those passengers because they don't speak English well enough to communicate with air traffic controllers. Well, now one airline in our report, a Colombian airline called ACES, wants you to know what it's doing to prevent cockpit confusion.
Miami Center 125.7.
A Miami air traffic controller watches her radar screen in horror. Two jets are converging on each other at 700 miles an hour. A mid-air disaster is just seconds away when she orders ACES Airlines Flight 500 to take evasive action.
ACES 500, turn left, flight heading 220, turn left now, traffic 12 o'clock.
An FAA investigation revealed the pilots misunderstood controllers. The pilots were flying at the wrong altitude while approaching Miami on a flight from Bogota. The FAA found there were multiple instances in which ACES 500 did not respond or comply with air traffic control instructions.
It is scary every time, but we've become accustomed to that happening.
That's what Kelby Black, president of the Miami Air Traffic Controllers Union, told us when we first brought you our investigation 3 months ago. Her colleagues constantly complain about the dangers of pilots from many foreign airlines who speak inadequate English.
118.3,
But now ACES is taking action to make our skies safer. In fact, the airline invited us inside the cockpit on a flight between Miami and South America to see firsthand what the airline is doing to improve English in the cockpit.
This controller says no complaints.
In more than 6 hours of flight time, we did not hear any problems when our pilots were speaking English to air traffic controllers.
Miami Center, good afternoon, ACES 502, 31026 miles.
Since the near collision in Miami, the Colombian airline has launched an aggressive classroom curriculum to train and test its pilots.
Level at 330, squawking 6734.
ACES 500 descent to flight level 240.
ACES is now requiring all of its cockpit crew members to spend 2 days twice a year inside this language lab in Medellin. The pilots are graded on their ability to speak English. If they don't pass the test, they're grounded from international flights. Right now, 3 ACES pilots are grounded from those flights because they don't speak English well enough. Their instructor, Juan Carlos Rodriguez, who is also an ACES pilot, says he makes his class difficult but realistic to make certain the pilots are as well trained as possible.
ACES 500, are you parking on the Bravo concourse?
Okay, once again, your answer would be?
Affirmative, we are going to park on Bravo concourse.
After the near disaster in Miami, Rodriguez says his airline asked him to weed out pilots who could not speak English.
We start working with FAA, Miami air traffic controllers, to design a program in which we guarantee that our pilots are properly certified to fly in the United States.
Mike Connor, a former air traffic controller and current president of the National Aviation Research Institute in Washington, says more foreign airlines should do what ACES is doing.
I'd like to see them set up an English proficiency department for all their pilots, controllers, and those people that come in contact with the passengers.
During our investigation, pilot Sam Badner, who flies plane loads of passengers from Miami to South America, revealed another serious safety problem. South American air traffic controllers often do not use English, the international language of aviation, and instead speak Spanish to other Spanish-speaking pilots.
You know, we're all in this together. We all share the same airspace. We need to be speaking the same language so everybody knows where everybody else is located.
Now, Panama is taking the bold step of requiring all air controllers and pilots to speak English to each other. No more Spanish allowed. It's the first country in Latin America to mandate English only, an effort to make air travel safer.
Okay, here we go.
Back in the ACES Airlines classroom in Medellin, Rodriguez has decided 3 flight engineers must get immediate intensive training because their English is not up to par. He says after the near collision in Miami, the airline has zero tolerance for pilots who speak substandard English.
The lesson learned when that happened is that we needed to improve. We've been working on it, and we will continue working on it. We will be striving to achieve peak performance.
And one more note, ACES also has someone actually record pilot radio transmissions here in Miami. Those tapes are then sent to Columbia, where they're analyzed for English proficiency. And one more encouraging note, later this month in Phoenix, there are going to be air traffic controllers, pilots, and airline executives coming in from all around the world to try to tackle this problem, approach it head on, and try to come up with solutions so worldwide air travel is much safer. Reporting live at Miami International Airport, I'm investigative reporter Steve Daniels, NBC6.
Steve, thank you very much. Very positive steps being taken. And of course, we'll see you on